What's going on YouTube? It was never my intention to make a channel and then let it go dead. Initially, joining the army, I wanted to help people provide that service of care while still, serving my country, doing my duty. All the cliches that go with that. But unfortunately, life, just the last 3-4 years, ever since first creating this channel and filming those videos, um, it's been a roller coaster. It's been up and down. There's been a lot going on. Most of the time, I did grab some footage from trainings and deployment, but just I never found the time to edit them or upload them. I didn't realize, I knew YouTubers were making videos on their phones, super cringy ones like this. However, I never really kind of looked at how to do it, even though it's super easy. So now that I understand this, we'll probably have a little more to go on. Yeah, it's my roommates. Sorry, something came up real quick. Lost my train of thought. Anyway, I did grab videos from trainings, deployments. I just never found the time to edit them or upload them. When I was in the barracks, oh, Sammy's coming over to say hi. What? Oh. What you doing, little dog? Screechy? Alright. So like I said, life got a little busy. Obviously I don't live in the barracks because I have a dog. I'm, renting a room in town. Not a big deal. But like I said, I just never got the time to edit or upload them. I wanted to. I filmed them specifically to edit and upload. And there's some good training aspect to them. There's some cool stuff that people find interesting. But I've been trying to keep active on the channel as I can. I'm sure if you guys have seen the comments in my previous videos, people criticize or ask questions or comment on something for a treatment being done or intervention, and I would try and get in there and explain as best as possible why it's happening, encouraging other people that have commenting that say they want to become a 68 whiskey in the Army to go ahead and do so. And I'll say this right now, if you're watching this video right now and you saw my videos, I know one kid used them as a senior project because he wanted to be a 68 whiskey, and he was a senior year of high school. This was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. If you guys want to do that, and you have questions, I'm not going to tell you I know everything. I'm not a recruiter. I'm not an expert by any means, but I do know some things. So, message me, email me. I'll put my email in the description below that you can send those questions and comments, and I'll reply as best I can. And if I don't know the answer, I'll straight up tell you, hey, I don't know. Or if it's like word of mouth knowledge, not Army doctrine or how it actually works, I'll let you know, like, hey, this is what I did. It works for me. Didn't work for me. What I went through. And hopefully I can help you out in some way through that forum. And my offer stands if my videos influenced you or helped you out in some way and you went through and you're graduating, give me a graduation date, man. And shoot, if you want me there, I'll show up. I'll support you through your endeavors any way I can. But as far as my channel goes, definitely going to upload some videos here as soon as I find those SD cards with that footage. But being in the Army, part of why I haven't had time is, I've been blessed enough to find volunteer opportunities around the community that my base is in. Off-road EMS, similar to park rangers more than anything else, but essentially, off-road recreational areas, people go out and ride by themselves like a dummy, and they get hurt. And there's not cell phone coverage out there, so we patrol like a park ranger or a sheriff deputy, not in that capacity, but just as a layman to understand, we patrol actively to look for medical calls, people that are hurt that need help, as well as educate the public on safe riding practices, safe shooting practices, things like that, is mainly what we do. So we educate more than anything else out there, as well as treat injuries for people that are in rural, hard to get areas, because you're not driving an ambulance through sand dunes. The fire department has off road trucks, but you can't drive a Silverado to the same places you can drive a Jeep. So we help out with that aspect, and then with that as well, I also work for an ambulance company on the weekends once in a while when they need coverage, because usually when I work for them, for those that are in the EMS field, or have family members or loved ones that work in that field as paramedics, EMTs, EMT advanced, or even just ambulance drivers, because that's an actual thing. Hold up, EMTs. I know. You don't want to walk in the hospital and be called an ambulance driver. I'm an EMT. I'm a medic. But no, there's actually communities out there where it's legal for them just to grab some Joe Blow off the street who qualifies for the insurance for the company to do nothing but drive the ambulance. And that's what I have to go through down here. Is I'm the medic on the back, and I have a kid driving my ambulance, because otherwise there wouldn't be anybody. So when I say rural community, I mean rural community. Oftentimes I use Army training down there to improvise and adapt to get care for my patient, move them on to where they need to be to get definitive care. Specifically because, like in the Army, I can turn around and call for a Black Hawk and it's going to be there. I can call for another medic from another company, or if I'm near my CAFSA, my Roll 1, which is the main aid station, I can call for medical backup to have someone come help me out with a casualty that needs help, a trauma that needs more than one pair of hands, that it's trained. But out there, for instance, one of the last calls I went on, lady was stuck. Her foot was trapped in an air vent. Long story. And I needed one medical trained person to help, extricate her from where she was stuck, while I needed another medical person to hold C-spine and another one to start getting a backboard process, and then at the same time do a rapid trauma assessment, like all this different stuff to go, and I was it. It was me, my driver, who's not medically trained, and a sheriff's deputy who's former Army, and thank God he was CLS, but that was 12 years ago. But he understood when I said backboard what to grab, for the most part. So things like that, just using the Army training to take a crappy situation and make the best out of it. So I'm going to start trying to get more videos of day-to-day EMS when I am out there. If I go on a call and I can record, I'm going to record. I started we just got body cams actually at the volunteer place, because we deal with the public a lot. So I'm going to start getting my SD cards from there and make some videos. Hopefully you guys find them interesting, make them cool. But this channel is going to move a different direction. It's not going to be just the videos of training that you see on there right now. But just, some of them will be vlogs, kind of like this. Some of them will be just funny things, just little skits. That's going to be rare, because I don't like acting. I'm more of a behind the scenes person. But I got guns. I've got a truck. I've got a dog, who you just saw. I'm in the Army for right now. I'm probably ETSing here pretty soon. Getting out of the Army for all those civilians means I'm retiring. It's just I'm not re-enlisting as of now. That may change. But I live a very interesting life. So I'm going to try and give people more of a scope into that. The joke in my family is that my parents always tell me is I've done more before I turn 19 than most people do before they're 40. But I know I follow, for those that don't know, I'm just going to give a shout out. There's no money involved. There's no anything involved. I'm a tiny channel. But Lunkers TV, huge influence in my Army career. I started watching him after I got to my first duty station. Living in the barracks, just had a TV, Xbox, and a bedspread. That's all I had to my name. But watching him help get through some of that stuff, taught me some about fishing. So when I deployed and was on a rotation too, taught me how to fish through him. Passed the time there. And then Demolition Ranch is probably one of the first channels I subscribed to, and then vice versa, Vet Ranch and Off the Ranch. So shout out to Matt Carricker. Huge influence, helping me out day to day. Have a crappy day in the Army at work and come home, relax, watch some TV, but I don't pay for cable because I have YouTube and Netflix and Hulu. So watching him, things like that. Videos like that are probably what I'm going more toward, just so my audience here has a expectation of when I do post what those videos should be. But Lunkers TV used to have a series called Military Monday. Just random stories. Most of them combat related because that's what everyone wants to hear. I don't really have much Army combat experience. But I do know guys that do have some, so I'm going to start setting up interviews, things like that, get those on here for you guys to kind of learn about what it's really like day to day. Because as right now, it's the 12th of January 2020, all the shit with Iran is blown up. I just saw the news earlier today. One of the air bases in Iraq got mortar bombed. No U.S. casualties, not a big deal, but I do have some friends that, there is stuff that goes on that doesn't make it public, because one, it's either OPSEC, meaning by making it public, the military is putting other soldiers at risk. So rightfully so, it's not public knowledge, it's not public information. But the downside to that is, after, some of that stuff that happened in 2004, 2005, some friends that I have that were combat vets from that era, at the time, those missions that they went on that they did a lot of good on were never made public, specifically because at the time the government and the military didn't want it to be general knowledge, because it would put other people at risk. But now that it's over a decade later, it's not relevant. So they do make it public, but it's not relevant, so people don't know about it. Or the command team at the time that they had, I know one guy, his command team was kind of toxic, and the situation they got into was pretty jacked up. And so the paperwork got lost. Thanks, S1. Again, civilian audience, 42 Alpha is your human resources personnel. S1 can be your best friends and your worst enemies at the same time. I'm pretty good friends with my S1 because I learned right out the gate, make friends with them so they don't lose your leave forms and they don't lose your award documentation. But it's just a running joke in the Army. Like Doc is lazy. I'm Doc. I like to call myself a lazy medic because if I'm working my ass off, someone's having a bad day. So as long as I can just stick to sweeping my bay out, fixing my motor pool up, we're good. If I'm being a medic, someone's not good. So, but yeah, more videos to come. Hopefully less cringy than this. This is more of an information video to address the subscribers that I have. I'm getting like a couple a week, which is awesome. I never expected to get that. So, in the words of Matt Carricker, do something today that makes tomorrow better. That makes you better tomorrow. Words to that effect. So, comment what you guys want to see. If you guys are into the whole Military Monday idea, or Military Wednesday, whatever, just one day a week, once I get some interviews lined up, kind of give an insight into what it is to be in the Army, let me know. If you sat through this to the very end of this video, I thank you. I appreciate you, and I love your support, and keep on moving.